Things.
Let's
Hey,
do
it's
it,
number three.
Deborah. There it is.
There you go.
There it is. It's coming up soon.
There you go.
there's a little bit of a delay on the Switch thing. There we
Yeah,
go.
there's like 30 seconds of or something where they don't have oh, I got a commercial.
Oh, you gotta use the non-ad block a thing.
I really should. It's a commercial for that new Keanu Reeves movie though, John Wick. He he's
What?
he
What
it's
Keanu
called
Reeves movie?
it's called John Wick. He's talking about, "Hey, I see my face.
Hey, there's your face.
I see the face. There's faces there."
There's a face on the stream. It looks beautiful. Isn't it pretty? We changed it up
Yes.
again.
Oh.
It looks
Wow,
a
that
little different
that does
again.
look good.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
Navox's work, man. Navox kills it. He just
He
I
does.
sit there on Skype with him and he screen shares and I'm like, no, change this. No, move that. No, switch this. Nope, I want this there. It's exactly what I do every time. And I'm so freaking demanding and he's so awesome. So
Well, if I had the chance to do the screen share with you for the audio stuff, then that
oh
would have been a
yeah.
quicker of a turnaround.
That's
I thought
okay.
about I could always stream it or something sometime. I may actually, since the internet's so good at this hotel, I may try and set up a streaming thing and stream some Hearthstone or something like
Oh,
that.
that's cool. See, now Marconin is in an extended stay hotel for the next 3 weeks.
Yes, three
Yes.
weeks.
Yep. So for work, and then after that, this is where it blows my mind. After you leave there is when you're going to go to BlizzCon.
Yeah, I get off work. I think I'm going to work Sunday night and work until Monday morning, and then drive the 5 hours back. And then I'll have like a day and a half to pack and get switched around, and then fly out on Wednesday.
Wow.
So I'm pumped about that. I can't wait.
I know. Well, we probably don't really need that much different in terms of clothing,
No,
lightweight
no.
wise, because it's pretty warm in Texas right now.
Well, I drove through a bunch of thunderstorms, and it's kind of chilly outside right now.
It's been today. I didn't even go outside today because I was lazy, but
I,
I
I
did
wouldn't
stuff
have
in the
either.
house. But it was. I think the high today was like 50 something. So
Oh
welcome
man,
to fall in Wisconsin. So
still shorts weather for me.
jeez, what is it with you guys in shorts and 50-degree weather? It's totally like that here too.
I'm just comfortable in them. I don't know. Love you too, Amanda. Hello.
They're all excited you're here. Welcome back.
I'm excited they're here too.
Yay. Oh, they're excited you're here.
I know.
They're
I'm
excited you're
excited
here.
to be here.
Well, you should be, because it's you've got stuff prepared for tonight. He did an intro, guys. Like this is good stuff.
There
So
may be something a little special for you. I said something on Twitter, and so there may be something in there.
Twitter has the goods for you, so don't worry. It's all there. I'm gonna move some stuff
Hmm.
around here so I can see the chat room a little better.
All right. Yeah, that's how I've got you too.
I gotta move this around and do this around so I can see it. There we go. Yeah, this is good. I love the screen real estate, but man, sometimes I just have to figure out where things go so that they all
Hmm.
kind of match together.
Exactly.
So you drove to Dallas. No, you're not in Dallas. Are you in Dallas?
I'm in Tyler. It's about an
Okay.
hour and a half east
Okay.
of Dallas.
You just
So,
drove there today.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, I drove there this afternoon. It wasn't very far. I am noticeably louder than Jules again today.
All right, we'll fix you up a little bit here. Hang on
Yep.
a second. You're gonna see my screen change. That's just gonna be the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da. Audio settings. You are noticeably louder, so you get noticeably dropped. Let's try that. Testing, testing. 1, 2. Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God! Don't do that to me! You jerk! I'm
I'm
like
sorry.
going.
That's why. That's why I try to. That's why I said I
Oh,
was joking real
dude!
quick.
Nicely done.
Psych.
Oh, that's too funny. How's that, guys?
Oh,
Is that better?
is that any better?
Now
Check,
they're
check.
giggling. They're catching up to it. So now...
Check, check. Mic 1, 2, 3. Sibilance.
yeah, you got a Spencer
I got
too.
Spencer too.
I'm like,
It should have come.
shit. What did I do?
What button did I push? What cord did I unplug? Oh
How is
no.
that, guys? Is he still louder than me? My chat room's like below my screen over here, so I have to keep looking down. But
Oh yeah. I've got you in the center of the screen, so
yep.
it's where I'm kind of looking at you, and then because I don't want to look at myself on the Twitch thing, so I've got it covering up the thing, and then the windows down here on the right. Okay, let's see.
Sweet. No, he's good now? Okay, that's awesome. We've got that fixed up early enough. So, all right, let's see how this sounds, how this comes through.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Really?
Really? I'm just gonna adjust this one little guy over here. Oops, not
Oh,
that.
and
Audio
I was going to ask you before the show, like on the outro when you're doing all that, do you want me to take a paragraph of that, or whenever you got like a long thing
Yeah.
to read, you want
Let
us to
me
swap on
actually.
paragraphs or something?
Yeah. So
Meant to
on
ask
the
you that earlier.
notes, you'll see if there are spots in kind of a. Actually, that's not really easy to see. Let me change this color because it's not very easy to see at all.
Okay. Doo-doo.
I'm gonna make it blue so you can tell if it's you. To
Blue
read.
for you, or blue for
Blue
me.
for you, man. And then we'll just take turns on the. We'll take turns on the tell us one things and such.
Sure.
All right.
I just know on the outro last week, you're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff to read.
Gasping for air. I know.
I was like, well, I offer my services to talk for you if you want.
I'll give you this one and I'll give you that one. So you'll see some blue stuff in there. And
Oh, okay. Hey,
so
I
under the feedback you'll see a blue paragraph. The discussion has a bunch of colors. Don't worry about that. That's for just to distinguish between people. So
actually, I need to be right back. I can speak to something in the outro. So
alrighty.
Un momento.
One moment. Thanks for the screen. Yeah, that's the screen layout was done by Navox. Navox and I worked on this one last night and this morning, and he did a fantastic job. We decided to take the chat room off the screen so that we didn't tempt any trolls. You guys are awesome, but unfortunately there were some trolly trolls that decided to mess around. So the doors open, and then Marconin comes out. Oh, that's too funny. The doors opened, and then you were like,
I know.
it's awesome.
I may have intended it to look like that. Just
awesome.
a little bit. I just saw it on the stream. Oh, man.
Oh, Chief Bolton, I'm sorry. I said trolley trolls, not trolls. Trolley trolls are the bad ones. Those are the naughty ones. From hence on forward, it's always going to be trolley trolls. Let's just put it that way. How's that?
The trolley trolls.
The trolley trolls. I love that dramatic exit and entrance. That was awesome.
I entered with a flourish.
I am here. Hello.
Did you miss me?
I did. It was very lonely in this stream. I was reading the chat, and I was trying not to be distracted by said chat. So it's not easy. They're very distracting people.
There can be.
Okay. Let's see if I need anything else before we roll out. You know what? I'm going to make some of these just slightly bigger because my eyes are squinty tonight. So I'm going to bring some of this up in size so I can see. Boom. Just so I can see what I'm reading instead of trying to squint at what I'm reading. I didn't want to take up too much room on this dock, but you know what? I need to be able to see.
Yes.
My prescription is, these glasses are the ones I just got, and the prescription is a little bit stronger, which is awesome, but...
Oh, yeah. But you're not used to them yet?
It's slightly not used to them yet. They're awesome. I really like them. It's just not quite used to the weight. I mean, every single one of my glasses, because there's what's called an optical center on glasses that so it's really like where your eye is at the center of the lens, and because every frame is different, then the optical center is different, and sometimes they measure it right and sometimes they don't. So they measured the optical center perfectly on these, but now I have to make sure that they're like right up on my nose or I don't see very well. So it's just back and forth. All right. Okay. So everything is said in the notes. Are you stretched out? Are you watered
as
up?
good as I can get.
Are you watered up? I'm watered up. I have my water right here.
Oh, there we go. Pop my
And
neck.
yeah, you're just gonna. Do you crack? Does it crack when you do that?
When I do it to the left, it'll pop. I used to do it to gross people out, but I was like, that might be a bad thing. Did that back in like junior high. I was like, I don't want my head to come off, so I'll just stop.
Yeah. I have that. I can only do it on the one side too, on the right side. And but yeah, and it's most mornings after I've woken up, sometime during the morning I've got to go and just to make it snap, or else it's just not in the right spot. And ever since my car accident, it's much more so.
Oh yeah, we had really nice we had decent chairs in the rehearsal halls in college, like the band room, and every day in I'm not gonna do any jumping jacks. That'd be terrible television. But every day in rehearsal, I would take my trombone as a bass trombone, so it's got some weight to it, and I would put it behind my head and stretch. And the end of the top of the chair was right at that good part where my whole back would just go, just crack all the way up. It felt good.
That is awesome. When you can
chairs.
find the right chair to do that on, totally. Yes. I don't have very many chairs like that in this house because everything is like more high back. But
yeah, and the chair at the house is a higher back too.
Yeah. Well, and you're sitting in a gaming chair, and you're like, I need something that's going to be able to support, this part of my back. So not just the lower part for a long time.
I've been looking at getting a gaming chair, maybe after Christmas or something.
Christmas present. You'll be doing overtime, I'm sure, during Christmas. So.
Well, actually, they cap us at 32 hours a week because they don't have any work for us. So they kind of throw us into the retail side and like, just do whatever, make sure nothing breaks, and if it breaks, fix it, that kind of a thing. So, yeah, I'm completely remodeling an entire store over the next 3 weeks, and they're gonna miss me that fourth week because I'll be with you in Anaheim. So. I'll be like, sorry, I'm ditching out the last week, guys. Sorry. And yes, Sven, I am in a hotel.
Yes, he is in a hotel tonight. He is in an extended stay because that's where he's going to be for the next 3 weeks. So.
This is my job. This is my office.
Yay! All right, Marconin, let's put on a show tonight, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Okay, I'm going to count it down for the intro. That might be something special.
I don't know. Maybe, is there? I don't remember.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Counting it down in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, friends, to Troll Think Tank, the World of Warcraft podcast for you, the World of Warcraft player. Yes, where we make your problems more good. Yes.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the World of Warcraft podcast for you, the World of Warcraft player.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to episode 118 of Tauren Think Tank. That epic intro that you heard was created by the person who happens to be sitting opposite me tonight. My name is Jules, and I have, returning for his second appearance, the lovely, talented Marconin!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, Jules. It's so good to be back, man.
Wait, should I call you Chief Marconin?
No, that honor be to my own war chief, Mr. Vol'jin.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
guys.
That was such a downer. It's like, hey guys.
Hey, guys. Well, it's so good to be back here on Tauren Think Tank.
Or should we say troll think tank? Because that's what you said on the thing.
Well, you know, I had the idea, and I thought, what better time to do it than on my second appearance on the show?
I think that's
So
perfect.
there we go.
I think that's perfect. If you guys listen to the podcast version of the show and you heard Marconin doing his troll voice with coercion from the audience last time,
Really twisted my arm.
yeah, I know. We kind of just like said, do it. So that's what he did. And of course, so this was completely created by Marconin. I didn't know it was coming until I knew something was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be here until it came this afternoon, and it did not disappoint. So now we are, for the night, we are going to be Troll Think Tank, though there will be a lot of Tauren flavor and everything because that's what we do.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
How
It is
are
so
you?
good to be back.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I am sitting in a hotel in Texas for work, and the internet is surprisingly the best that I've ever had at a hotel in 4 years of traveling for work. It's amazing how good this internet is.
Yeah, I was actually floored when you told me. I'm like, okay, I hope he's got good internet for the show tonight. I hope it's going to be okay. And then when you called me and I called you to get the show started, and I'm like, damn, your video's clear, your audio's clear. This is like the best gift ever.
I know. I'm going to have to stay at this place next time I'm in the area because it is good internet's the number one thing I want in a hotel. So
yeah, well, if you're
This
going to
will
be
work.
there for 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yep.
Oh yeah, you need to be able to game and stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's how I stay sane.
Well, I am so happy to have you back again. As I mentioned last week, I was just still coming up with a plan of attack. And what I decided to do was to bring back both Marconin and Sharku for separate shows because I want you guys to have a second look at them, have a chance to get to know them a little bit better because they both did an excellent job the first time. But I think that this particular episode is going to stretch some muscles, both for me and Marconin. We've got some stuff that we've never done before on this show tonight, and some discussion topic we've never done before, and a very, very special question that we're going to tackle later. But first, Marconin, what have you been up to since I've last seen you?
Well, the usual, just going to work like always. Not a lot on the WoW front lately. I got my horde monked at 90 a couple weeks ago. Yep. So that makes 3 monks, 2 paladins, 3 mages, and like 9 or 10 other classes at 90.
Shut up!
I'm a little 90'd out for the moment.
How many?
It's like 13 or 14 total now, but I've got 3 mages, 2 paladins, 3 monks, and then like warlock, hunter, shaman, warrior, kind of scattered around.
Explain to me why you need more than one of any class, though, at 90.
Well, I've got my gnome, and he's in convert to raid.
Yes.
And then he's my gnome mage, and then I have my troll mage in AIE. And at the beginning of Mists, I also have a Night Elf mage on Storm Rage, and I raided with them during Dragon Soul on my Night Elf Marconin. Well, they were like, yeah, dude, you get to 90, we got a spot on the raid team for you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ground that guy up as fast as I could to 90, and as soon as I ding 90, one of the healers is like, one of the healing officers in the guild was like, okay, well, I'm going DPS, so we just need a healer now. Oh, like, oh man. So that guy's still rocking greens and blues. I haven't really touched him since then, but usually it's like I've got one horde and one alliance, and then like an off character that I'll grind up with a friend or something. So
nice.
Yeah,
it's that is still like impressive and slightly crazy.
Well, I cut my teeth on the MMO world on the Matrix Online, and you don't know grinding until you've made a max level character in the Matrix Online, because we had one style of quest, and you were like, you go into a building, go up the elevator, talk to a dude, go down, go do this, kill this guy, go collect these things, done. And you did that, and that's how you leveled up. So it was very grindy,
Yeah.
a lot more grindy than WoW is. So if I could do that, then I can go through dread wastes.
What this tells me, though, is that
again.
you are a very, very dedicated soul. You just want his like determination, like lock on and do not stay on target. Stay on target. Do not
Stay on
quit.
target.
That's
Exactly. But yeah, I got her to 90. As soon as I saw what the rank 20 and above card was going to be for October for Hearthstone, like that October 1st, I ground up to level 20 or rank 20 because it's got the Hallow's End card back with the pumpkin on it. It looks really awesome, and I collect the card backs, so I try to get one each month, and I had the fortunate card stock to make Dill's aggro mage deck, and I love aggro mage anyway.
Yeah.
And so I just tweaked it to kind of copy what he recommended on his article, and I just blew everybody up. It was awesome. So,
Spoken like a typical mage.
hey now, well, what can I say? But yeah, just doing that, and I've got a little side project I'm working on. That's what's really eating out some of the WoW time this week. But
Yeah.
But there'll be more on that later. But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
so that's all I've been up to lately. What about you, Jules?
Well, Warcraft, spending time in Warcraft with my druid, and I've hit 86 on my horde, my Tauren druid.
Nice.
86. And I've hit that phase right now where my heirlooms are now not working. And the only way that I can really get XP is by just going for it and the same 2 dungeons that I can do. And I am so tired of just, it's so frustrating. So I go in and I do a dungeon and I go and I do something else. It's just like, I can't do it. So every night I would like log in and do a dungeon. That's pretty much the entire week. But my week was really taken up by this medication. All the things in my life that could be taken up, it's with medication. So I talked last week about how I'd gotten through this heart monitor and I was going to go see my cardiologist and they were going to tell me what's wrong. And they did. I saw my cardiologist on Monday and he told me that I have premature atrial contractions and premature ventricular contractions. So the upper chamber and the bottom chamber of the heart beat prematurely before they actually beat to pump blood. And normally what happens when people have this, which is relatively common for people who have it, and a lot of people have them, is that if you have like 6,000 events or so a day or less, it's considered to be relatively normal. My premature atrial contractions, or PACs, was over 16,000 per day.
Whoa.
And so the doctor kind of looked at me and he goes, it's not that bad, but it's something that I would treat. And what he told me was that I needed to take was called a beta blocker. And a beta blocker is supposed to slow down the rhythm of your heart and help you, and help these contractions. Because what happens is that I feel my heart beat out of rhythm all the time. It feels like something sometimes pounds the inside of my chest, or it flips around, or that kind of thing. And it's weird. And sometimes I get a little uncomfortable, or I feel tired, or that kind of thing. They ain't nothing comparatively to what I had when I took a beta blocker for the first time, and I went, holy buckets. I am messed up. My brain was like, so I did that TV show on the first dosage that I had, and I was in another planet somewhere. I literally don't remember what I did. And I was so tired, and I was so worn out, and I am just, like, literally every night this week, I was in bed by 8 o'clock, and I was just crying to go to bed. And so I was just like, this is not cool. So I got in touch with my doctor. They said, okay, try taking a half a pill and take it at night instead of in the morning and see how that works. And so I took one last night. I took half a pill. The symptoms were gone for what I was having, but I can still feel the palpitations. So we've still got some work to do. But at least I can do this show, because honestly, if I had been on that medication, I really don't know what I would have been like. I don't think I would have been like this, because it was just tired and loopy, and then I'd get out of breath, like literally out of breath, and because my heart rate got slowed down. And so stupid. And I'm like, and so I'm talking to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, well, this is what happens when you're a young person on beta blockers. I'm like, but I don't want to be on heart medication at 40. Come on.
Jeez.
What the hell, man? So that's
Oh.
that's what's been kind of going through. And so every night I would come on and log on, I'd do a dungeon, and I'd be like, F this, I'm tired. I'd be going to bed.
I've seen enough of
So-
you, Storm Stout Brewery.
Yeah, and I just I was just like, oh, I'm so tired of Storm Stout Brewery and Temple of the Jade Serpent. Seriously. So yeah, and that's all I could do right now because I can't queue for anything else except a heroic for the previous like Cataclysm, and I don't want to do Cataclysm heroics.
Nah.
So anyway, that's been like I've been kind of struggling with that a little bit this week. I'm glad I'm feeling relatively normal tonight because it really sucks when you don't feel like yourself and when you feel medicated and doped up. So so I'm really looking forward to the patch next week. I'm really just super jazzed to know that it's coming because then I've got something to do. I've got something to learn. I've got things to do with my druid to learn how to play her again and see how it rolls and see what adjustments I got to make. And what are you sticking with for the expansion, or what's going to be your main? Your mage?
More than likely, it's
Yeah.
going to be my no mage. Yeah, he's the first one that's going to hit 100 for sure, and then possibly my troll mage to kind of split the time, and then probably my prop paladin. I really like being a pally tank, either that or a monk or my monk tank.
Sure.
One of the two.
Okay.
One of those. What about you? Are you?
I'm definitely staying with the druid. I'm just moving my chat room around because I can't see anything. Because like my screens are all messed up right now. I'm trying to fix where they are. I'm probably staying with my druid. It's gonna be that way. But I was dinking around a little bit with a baby monk. With all the leveling I've been doing, I know it's probably not the most practical thing in the world, but looking at monks being tanks looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
They are fun. Yeah.
They look like fun. I
Yep,
can't believe
I
I'm
mean-
actually thinking about possibly tanking. I think this is the worst idea in the world, Marconin.
Well, I mean, it could be fun. What's more fun than throwing beer on people and catching them on fire? I mean, there's not really much anything more interesting than that in the game.
Fair enough.
Here,
Fair
you look
enough.
thirsty.
Beer and
Here, have some fire.
have some fire with your beer. It'll be awesome. Be like, my own version of Fireball whiskey right there.
Uh-huh.
Ling
It's a
and
special
fire.
blend.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. I've got a 90 monk, but I tried switching the second spec to Brewmaster just to see what it would look like to have it at full 90, what everything is, and I'm like, I don't know anything. Like I've never tanked in my life, and then all the things that are on this bar, and I was just like, I know how much I hate leveling, but that's the only way I'm gonna learn. So if I'm
Yep.
gonna do it, I'm gonna start from the beginning, and then the patch is gonna come, and I won't care anyway. So
Exactly. Everybody's going to start pretty much fresh on Tuesday.
yeah, we're all starting all over again anyway. So it's like, well, do whatever we need to do with that. So that's what we've been up to this week. So we are going to next bring out some discussion. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Let's do it.
Let's kick around some ideas, not gnomes.
Thank you for that one, Marco. It's Arcane
You're
and Marconin.
That's a cool idea.
I love
Love
it. We came up with this idea over text messages this week. All right. This was awesome. So let's talk about some discussion. And I need to preface this one by giving thank you to a listener of this show. Zagnut CTR is the person who inspired and actually brought me this discussion topic, and here's how it happened. On Monday, I was I was getting ready to just play around with my Horde Druid, and I got a message from my former tank on Cat on Fire. His name is Skinsaw, and he said, "Hey, Jules, do you want to come and heal for our team? We're on normal Siege Crafter. They're a newish team on Progression." And I said, "Sure, I haven't raided in about a month and a half." And there was a bunch of people that I knew from the team or I've seen on Twitter, and Zagnut was one of them. And he sent me a message and he said, "Thank you for all that you do." And I said, "You're so welcome. I love when people talk to me about the show and they enjoy it." And he asked me, "Have you guys ever done a discussion about long distance relationships in the past?" And I said, "No." Mainly just because no one has actually brought the topic to us. And so, and I know that Zagnut has been in a long distance relationship with JD Lady. And so we talked a little bit about it back and forth. And I said, I think this is an excellent idea. And so what I did is when I started thinking about it some more, I said, I can name like 2 other couples like right off the bat to tell me on Twitter who are in long distance relationship. There are a lot of people out there who play World of Warcraft, who are on the internet, who have long distance relationships, and this could be a really good discussion topic. And so I emailed them. I emailed 3 people total and asked them and their significant other if they would be willing to answer some questions for me, and they were all super awesome. So I need to give special thanks to some people from Lilulicious and her boyfriend Rise Up T-Wolf, from Lore Walker Maslu and her wife Sika, I hope I'm saying that right, and Zagnut CTR and his girlfriend JD Lady CTR. All of them contributed to helping us with some of the part of this discussion topic, because I don't live in one, and I don't live in one playing WoW. So I wanted to talk to the people who do. So that is what this is. The topic is going to be about long distance relationships and how they are sustained across the miles by use of gaming, what it's like to be in a long distance relationship and have the ability with the internet to have what we have. So, Marconin, now that I've talked my ear off and your ear off, since I've talked to you about this a little bit, but I don't think that the audience knows. Have you ever been in a long distance relationship, or are you currently?
Yes and yes. I have been in one, and I am still in one. I have been married for 4.5 years, and I have lived apart from her for more than 4.5 years.
Wow.
Due to colleges and stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah, and I was in one before where my other long distance relationship was the one when I met on the internet. Although it wasn't through anything cool like WoW, it was through like Yahoo Instant Messenger. At least it wasn't like CompuServe or Prodigy or the old stuff. Yeah.
So I think, my only long distance relationship that I ever had was when I was in college. So we're going back about 20 years now. Yes, I'm old. I dated my then boyfriend, who became my first husband, and I met him when I was in college. I was working summers at a Kimberly-Clark plant back in my hometown, and he was one of the people who worked there permanently. So I was an intern, and he was an employee there, and that's how we met. And then I dated him through my entire senior year of college, and then we decided to move from. I was in Pennsylvania, and we moved to Chicago area, and then eventually moved up to Madison, where we live now. Then we split up, and I stayed in Madison, and that's where I met Arcane. And actually, I'd known Arcane for quite some time, but. So I could talk a little bit about what it's like to be in a long distance relationship, but of course you're going to have a lot more because you live this every day. So in either of your long distance relationships was, obviously one of them had the internet involved, but was gaming a part of it?
Not as much. My wife doesn't play WoW at the moment, mostly due to being in grad school, and that takes up pretty much all of her free time.
Yeah.
But I think I remember us playing some a few years back when it wasn't quite as hectic. But it's not just the distance; it's also the change in schedules, because I'm up at night, and all the other sane people in the world aren't. So
Yeah.
you're kind of separated by miles and hours too. So it's a double whammy.
How do you find it easiest, or maybe not as easy, to make it work when there's distance? Like, you're going to be in Dallas for like 3 weeks now, and then you're going to go to BlizzCon for about a week.
Mm-hmm. It's it is very hard. Like, there's not really much that's easy about it at all. It's pretty much one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder because, in some ways it's easier and harder because I'm so busy and she's so busy that we don't have time to worry about it usually. But the other side of the coin is you're so busy that eventually you realize you haven't talked to them, you haven't heard their voice in a week or a week and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and and it's just it's either one person forgetting or the other not thinking about it, and it's just kind of you're just the time gets away from you,
Yeah.
and then you're like, crud, man, I messed up. I didn't think about this, or I fell asleep before that, and it's just it's very difficult
Yeah. It
getting
almost
it.
sounds like you're in your situation that you're living in two separate lives that happen to be in the same home.
Yeah.
Like when you're home, you're in the same place, but you live two very, very different lives that don't intertwine as much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly how it is.
And what's interesting when we talked to the folks who I mentioned earlier, because these people, all of them began their relationship online. Their lives are lived online. JD and Zagnut really gave me some interesting insight into what their day is like. Both of them said, we live on Skype. Because she works at home and I think he works nights. He didn't say in his email, but he works, I think he's working this evening. And they have Skype open all the time when they're there. They and to the point where they watch each other sleep, which they said it sounds kind of creepy, but it's literally like if I were in the same bedroom with you and I was working or you were awake, then I can see you and I know that you're there, or I feel that, I can see you there. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be both fascinating and really inspiring,
Yeah.
The things that we have now, and this is partly why I wanted to talk to these folks, and with the way that we live in this world, is that we have the ability to do so much more in terms of corresponding. We couldn't do this podcast, you and I, without technology like this, where I can see you sitting in your hotel room in Dallas while I sit in my spare bedroom in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the technology can have its limits, and it can have its benefits. You have a cell phone, you have internet, you have Skype, but since your lives are very, very separate in a lot of ways, it doesn't really seem to matter if it was there or not.
Yeah.
You're living that life.
Yeah, it helps only a little bit
Mm-hmm.
if you can remember, or if you can, and it's the technology's there. It's just finding the time to utilize it. That's the harder part for my situation.
Yeah. So you had a long distance relationship prior to this one, and you met through Yahoo Messenger. Was that relationship spent a lot of time always on the internet? Like, was that, like chat messaging versus actual talking on the phone?
Well, it's interesting because it went through multiple phases. Because I met her in late 2001. And back then, there wasn't much in the way of streaming or very good. There was no gaming involved because neither of us played MMOs at that time.
Yeah.
And so it was strictly, just on Yahoo and on texting on the phone. Mm-hmm. And I finally met her in person about a year and a half after I met her. Mm-hmm. And then we started visiting back and forth. Well, after about a year or so of that, she moved to go to college with me.
Okay.
And so then it was like, wow, we are actually here in person. And so that's kind of, it changed up the whole relationship a little bit, being there all the time.
Yeah, because your relationship was built based off text messages and phone calls.
And then it's having to, and also that she was also in band, played trombone as well. So then I've got my girlfriend who I know on the internet, and then I've also all my friends, and now they're together. And it's, it was almost, it was a little awkward because she had a different personality than almost everybody else that I was friends with. And so it was kind of awkward. And then eventually she moved to Maryland with her parents, and then we stayed together for a little while. But then due to some things, it just didn't work out. Which is it's fine. We're still friends. I saw her a couple of years ago when I was in DC last. But it's it was just a different situation.
So
And
let me make sure I understand. You met
mhm,
online, and then she moved to being to college with you. So then you were in the
mhm,
same area, and then she moved away, and you continued the relationship from a distance
mhm.
again. So you went from
Yes.
away to together to away again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, it
And
is.
so you can say pretty definitively that it is it's a very different scenario when you're in proximity to each other versus when you are not.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hmm.
Okay. Do you think that the relationship was stronger when you were together or when you were apart?
Oh man, I think in some ways it was stronger when we were apart,
Mm-hmm.
because we were our own people. We had our separate lives. You kind of do when you're having a long distance or an online relationship. You got, when you're interacting with everybody around you, and then you've got, your little pocket boyfriend or girlfriend, or a significant other, and whenever you're there, you're that with that person, and so it's very different. Uh, but it just kind of losing my train of thought.
No, that's
But
okay.
yeah,
It's I find it really it's a fascinating topic when you think about it. When you think about what love is and what we create it to be in our lives, and a lot of these folks who I talk to had said I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't going after a long distance relationship with someone. I just fell in love with them for who they were, and I didn't have really a choice in it. I just fell in love with them. And what I found really revealing about talking with them back and forth and having them answer my questions was the level of commitment for someone who is in a long distance relationship, because their challenges are so much greater, because they have so much more to work through. Like, a challenge with communication, a text message can be misconstrued in tone and can
hmm
turn into an argument versus, me and Kane looking at each other across the room and saying, can you take the garbage out? It's a very different situation. Um,
yes.
but what was fascinating about this is that in all of the things that they have, the challenges they have no physical proximity to each other, or very few times where they can see each other. The amount of love that they have for each other and the strength of their relationships were made to be a whole lot more. It was very tangible when I
Hmm.
listened and when I read what they said. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that they game together, or they spend time on the internet together, or they have this technology. So what I'm kind of gathering from this conversation is if you have the technology, it really, really helps to make a relationship sustain if you use it. As you're
Exactly.
talking,
Yeah.
you
If
use
you have
it.
the opportunity to use it, yeah.
Right. Because it is your only option. It is your only opportunity to be able to connect with the person that you see. And I think about what it would have been like even without Skype, and those days where I was on IRC channels when I was in college, and people, all you had was text communication, which would usually eventually graduate into something like a phone call between
Hmm.
people. You didn't have video Skype, you didn't have FaceTime, and you didn't have the opportunity to see this person. And I met some people from IRC channels when I was in college that were very different than they
I was
should
gonna
have been
say,
when
I think I've seen commercials about stuff like that.
Oh my lord. I can tell you stories, Marconin.
Oh, I look forward to hearing them someday.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but you know what? There has been some that have been long standing friendships. Maybe not we talk every day or every month or every 6 months, but we're connected on Facebook and we sometimes send messages. There is a guy who lives in Seattle, excuse me, who I met through that. He was a little bit obsessed with me, just a little bit,
Just easy bit.
just a teensy little bit. And but once I said I wasn't interested, he definitely backed off. This was in college, by the way.
Well, that's good, because
Yeah.
they don't always do that when you
No,
tell
they
them you're not
don't.
interested.
No, they don't.
It
And
just
so,
makes
but
it harder.
but so I remember the days when that whole world opened up and you could meet people in a realm that didn't require you to be in the same place. So of course, why not have relationships that cross the miles? Why not have relationships across country, across international? Though I mean they happen all the time.
Hmm.
But what is difficult, I think, for these people, for the gamers, and is the ability to, and this was what made me a little bit sad, is that a lot of them had just challenges in their own lives that have prevented them from being together, where one of them has a family situation and the other one has maybe a financial situation, and they can't afford it. They can't uproot their lives because they have a good job and the other person has situations that keep them there. And so it's this, it can be a little like you can almost see it and go, oh, that's really sad, but they aren't sad. No. They're very optimistic. They talk about how they have a future plan. They have plans to get together, and it's really heartwarming. I would love to know. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who have a long distance relationship that are, that I didn't talk to, that are interested in sharing that information. But it's just, I don't know if I could ever do it now. In my time in life now, I don't know if I could do it, because Arcane, I've gone away on business trips for like a half a week or that kind of thing, and it just feels like the weirdest thing in my entire world to be away, because I'm always, Arcane is always here, and we may not be talking to each other the whole time, but we're there. He's just there.
Yeah, yeah, he's right there.
Do you find that when you're away for like this period of time and then you go home, do you have a transition period that you have to kind of come back to because you've had a routine?
Well, in some ways, yes, but in other ways, no, because of how kind of disjointed, because I'm gone for months at a time, and I'm in different places. Sometimes I'm in a different state every week, and I'm a different hotel room bed, and so it's just I've kind of gotten used to being kind of mobile and moving around. So there's not really kind of an adjustment period for me. I just kind of, my brain doesn't think that way. Mm-hmm. So it would just whenever I'm home, I'm home. Whenever I'm not, I'm not. So it's just kind of it's kind of a goal-oriented thing. Like, okay, I know I've got this week here, this week there, and then I get to be home. So then I just kind of put my mind in that gear, and it just goes until I get there. So it's not really there's not really a kind of an adjustment period for me to get back or anything. I just kind of sink into it and just kind of lock in. It does switch a little bit, because whenever I'm off nights and I'm back on days, then it's kind of like, oh wow, you mean there's the sun, there's other people in the world besides my coworkers. I can go do things. We can go see a movie, not 10 o'clock at night when I just wake up, and it is a little, you do adjust a little bit, but I mean, I've been doing this for 4.5 years. So I've learned how to adjust to it and how to, it's old hat by now for me. But if it was new, back when it was new, it was definitely a little disjointing for me to move around and change and flop back and forth.
It's funny. The last time you were on the show, you said you don't handle change very well. And honestly, I think that's absolutely wrong, because that your life constantly lives in change.
Well, in that sense, yes. It's usually like the bigger things of change that I don't like. Like my car broke down a few weeks ago, and my wife was like, "Well, you need to get a new car. You need to start thinking about a new car." I was like, "I don't want a new car. I haven't. I just, I was like, I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to do that. I just want it to stay here. I'm going to ride this thing out until it dies." And so that's how I do it. I keep something until it just breaks beyond repair, and then I'll get a new thing. But yeah, you are right. In some ways, I can't handle change, but it's like the big things that really irk me. But these smaller things, it's a little, it's a little easier.
It's funny because that car thing, that car example that you give, is talking about, this is the constant. This is the thing that I'm comfortable with. I'm constant. I'm in it all the time. I'm comfortable with it. Therefore, I don't want it to change, because everything else around you changes all the time. So that's a good point. Yeah. So it's this thing where you're talking about how I don't want that part to change, because I'm okay with all of this stuff always rotating and changing. And I'm sleeping in a different bed every few weeks, or I never know where I'm going to be in 2 weeks, or, it's a life of change. And I think about the people who live in a long distance relationship. I think that every single one of them live a life of anticipating the future, of anticipating what it will be like to not be in this current situation. It's just a temporary situation. And I give people who do this a lot of credit because for someone like me who likes to have, I'm okay with change as long as I have control, as long as I'm able to conduct or have parts of the change that I can dictate. And when it's happening to me and not because I allowed it to happen is when it's really hard. You know, as you can probably tell, I'm a little bit of a control freak. And so
No, not a.
but I think that all of these folks who spoke about this have a life of anticipation, of looking towards the future. And I think that you fall into that category too. You're always looking to see what's coming down the road, but you really can't plan for it to be there because you don't know where the path is going to take you. And when you choose a life of a relationship on the road there or on a distance, I find it really I admire the strength that it takes to do that. Not that I don't think I would have the strength, it's just I don't think I would choose to, because you have to have, it's like trust amplified by 10. You're living a different life than the other person. You're choosing to go out and, do your life that you have. A lot of these folks talked about how they have friends that they could go hang out with, and they go out and they have their girls' night or their guys' night, and, it's cool because there's not somebody at home, but there's that drawback of not having them there too. So it's a trust factor and a communication factor times 50 in my mind. And I give you a lot of credit for it, Marconin, because it's tough.
It definitely is tough all around. If I could choose to, I would not be traveling and working at night. But it's just for right now. It's what pays the bills, so it's got to happen.
Yes.
And I'm at least I have I have friends online. I have the wife that I can talk to whenever I need to, and I have this connection to everybody so that if I had done this job 20, 30 years ago, if I was, if I was 30 years in the past and could do it, it would be so much different because there wouldn't be anything to there'd be nothing to do.
You'd be watching TV every night.
I'd be watching, the Rotissemat or whatever Ron Popeil or whatever his name is was hawking at night, whenever all that stuff that I used to stay up late as a teenager. It's like, I can stay up till 3 a.m. and there's nothing on TV, but I'm still staying up late. This is awesome.
It's
whatever.
It is something that I marvel at now when I think about when I was a kid and how I would say I'm bored, I don't have anything to do, and how these days with my stepchild in the house, and when we take away, because she's been bad, we've taken away her internet and she only gets restricted to 2 hours of TV. She doesn't know what to do. Yeah, she got in trouble and she's been grounded from the internet for 2 weeks, which makes a very decent punishment, I should say.
Ooh, oh man, that's like cutting off your arm these days.
Seriously, I don't think I could do it.
Does she have any books to read, or does she? I mean, because that would be the only thing that, like, if that was me, that'd be the only thing I could do is just try and read a book. Try and pass the time.
She's been painting. She's been drawing and that kind of thing, which is good. But you have to kind of force it. You have to force her. Otherwise, she'll sit and watch YouTube videos all day, and she'll watch TV all day. And so in any case, we derailed that one again.
It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, what would you do in this time frame? You watch television and you talk on the phone, probably, if you were talking on the phone with people, and that's it. It's just, it has changed so much in the ability. And I think gaming, if there isn't enough to say about how awesome gaming can be for people, the relationships that get built, the people that can connect with each other, going back to Lilu and Rise Up T-Wolf, they met on Twitter. These two met on Twitter and saw each other making snarky jokes and built a friendship that turned into a romance. Zagna and JD met in the Convert to Raid Guild. JD came in. She was a member of the Airy Peak server. Her guild had dissolved, so she decided to come into CTR to see what it was all about. And she said it was so big and very, very feeling very cliquey, didn't really have an opportunity to connect with anyone. So she said something in guild chat that she was thinking about leaving. And Zagnot, he spoke up and said, don't leave. And now the two of them are dating for almost a year. Today is actually Lilu and T-Wolf's anniversary. So happy anniversary, you two.
Happy anniversary.
And Sika and Maslu met on a message board. They met on a message board talking about dolls. And so they've known each other the longest. They've known each other since 2009. And
Wow.
And they are actually married. They are currently married. They are not living in the same area with each other yet, but they are planning to do so in January.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. And so it is, I mean, these three couples are really, really special. And I learned so much from them. And they are all six of them are on Twitter. And I think you would enjoy watching and listening to the tweets that they share. And a lot of them talk about their relationships and the challenges that they face. So I found this to be a really cool insight into what it looks like to date and to have a relationship or a marriage across the miles when you don't live in the same place. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about relation to this topic, Marconin?
Well, I mean, other than it's the like with the way that technology is these days, it's much easier to keep the relationship going. You have a lot more different methods to stay in touch, to make sure that you're always there. You know, if someone needs you, they can text you, you can talk on Skype. But you know, all the video and all the extra advances in the technology have made it much easier to have a long distance relationship and make you feel more invested in like you're actually there. Like like they were saying with Zag and JD Lady, they were watching each other sleep, which is, that's I wouldn't really think it's creepy unless you're just sitting there staring at them when they wake up. But
I think that would be funny as hell. Hello.
Good morning.
I'm staring at you.
You're so beautiful. But no,
Hello,
I think
creeper.
but I think it's good the way that the technology has really helped out those of us in long distance relationships, and it's made it easier to stay more invested, and where it doesn't suck so much to be so far away from the one you love.
Yeah, and I give tremendous credit to all six of the people who I spoke with and to everybody who's in a long distance relationship, because you've already put yourself in a position of challenge to build a relationship and to maintain it. But what I found so inspiring by these folks is that they just said, you know what, this is my life. And right now we can't change it. So this is how we live. This is how we do it. And it's okay for now, because that's what they have come to accept. And I find that really inspiring, because it means that love can exist across the miles, and for people who are really determined enough to make it happen. So if you are in a long distance relationship, or you're considering it, and you're not sure if it's the right thing to do, these people are pretty inspiring to show you that it does work. Doesn't always work, but these folks will tell you that it does. So, and this is the first time we've ever kind of talked about this topic, so I really just wanted to do a broad overview. And I thank you again, Zag, for your suggestion of this topic, and we can certainly take it in other directions in the future as well. So questions at taurenThinkTank.com is where you can send emails to us. And also, see me in game, you can certainly talk to me, because that's what happened here. So thank you, Marconin, for sharing your experience with this as well. I know that this topic is pretty, it's pretty much your life. So thank you for sharing it.
Well, you're welcome. I'm actually glad when you approached me with this subject, because you gave me the choice to be like, well, do you want to talk about this? And well, I do because others do. And, maybe, I don't really have much insight into it. But, if what we can do today helps somebody, then that's what it's about and it's worth it. So
Absolutely.
I didn't want to shy away from
Good. Well, good on you.
it.
All right, so we are going to move on to actually first. Before we move on to our Tauren think tank question, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. Thank you, Doghouse, for supporting this show. If you've heard us talk about Doghouse, but if you've never checked them out, I would highly recommend that you do. And if you're kind of on the fence, coming up in the next couple of weeks, like probably after BlizzCon, is going to be, they're usually putting out some pretty sweet deals on Black Friday. I know I'm thinking about this in the future, but if you're thinking about it and you're trying to save up some money for the holidays and you're thinking about what you want to do, Doghouse Systems would be the way to go. I love mine. I love playing games on my Doghouse because I feel like everything just flies and it makes me feel like I'm part of the experience and not waiting for my frame rate to catch up. So that is the hardest part when you're on a computer. You're like, I am just stuttering through this scene because it sucks. And that's not what you're going to have happen with Doghouse. So check them out, doghousesystems.com. We have a special offer for you as fans of the show. If you enter the code TTT at checkout, that's triple T, you get double the memory on your brand new gaming system. Pretty awesome, I would say. So thank you, Doghouse, for supporting this show. And thank you guys for supporting our sponsor. Marconin, Are you ready for the think tank?
I believe I am.
Let's do it.
Tauren between options? Let Triple T help you sort it out.
All right, folks, buckle in on this question. It's a little bit long, but it's definitely worth it. Dear Triple T, my older brother and I have been inseparable since childhood. We are 13 months apart, and he and I were the closest of 4 boys. He used to say that it felt as though we were the same person sometimes. He'd start a sentence, and I'd finish it. He'd get in trouble, and I'd be right behind him. We did everything together. I looked up to him, and I wanted to be just like him. As such, I started playing WoW about a year after he did, shortly before Burning Crusade came out. We always had fun questing, leveling alts, raiding, or just sitting in Shadowmoon Valley running circles around each other. Eventually, he had to stop playing WoW because he could no longer afford it. He had fallen on some hard times with his then-girlfriend and succumbed to the pressures of drug and alcohol abuse, as well as a constant battle with depression and self-loathing. He and his girlfriend split after a very bad court case. He signed over his rights to his 2 children because he felt that his ex-girlfriend's fiance could provide for his children better than he could, and he moved from Tennessee to live with me and my wife in Texas. We became even closer, and I felt as though he was on the right track to getting his life together. Unfortunately, that was not the case at all. He longed to see his children and missed the life he once had. His ex would not allow him to speak with or have any contact with his children whatsoever. Slowly, he began to spiral down a path of self-destruction, and his outlook on life became bleak and dark. At every turn, I tried to give him a positive outlook on life and provide him with some shred of hope that he could get his life back on track, get his girls back, and have a happy life. He shot down every suggestion I had a generally negative outlook on the future, and was unhappy. I know now that his depression was not helping the situation. On the night of October 8th, 2013, we had a huge argument after I found him in the garage with a rope around his neck. He was drunk beyond measure and had been looking at old photographs of his 2 girls. I tried to tell him that he had so much to live for, and I begged him to think of everyone that would miss him and how his death would impact everyone that loved him, including his 2 children. We exchanged words, and I, stupidly, became so angry with him that I threw that rope at his feet, and I told him to end it if that's what he wanted to do. He looked at me and said the words that I would not only never forget, but would ring through my ears for the rest of my days. If it's not today, it's tomorrow, and if it's not this rope, it's another rope. The following day, he stayed home from work at my behest. I thought it would be a good idea for him to get some rest, have an easy day, and not have to worry about the pressures of a job. I had to be out late for a meeting, and my wife and children were at a friend's house. I got home at 8:15 p.m. and found him in the garage, hanging from a rafter. I had to cut him down. I had to call 911 while screaming and crying. I had to give him CPR for what seemed to be an eternity until help arrived. It was too late. I was told that he likely died around 8 p.m. 15 minutes, and I could have saved my brother. What really gets me is that his hands were not bound. He did not attempt to stop himself. He did not want to be her so badly that he had let himself just die. I still keep everything of his. I keep shampoo bottles, clothing, socks, shoes, laundry, receipts, texts, phone call logs, emails, Facebook messages, voicemails, his car, and everything in it. Everything of his. If he touched it or had anything to do with it at all, I keep it. He has 2 characters on my WoW account that I will not touch. I refuse to change anything about them, move them from the spot they are standing in, or even log into them. I miss him so very much, and I feel as though I change everything, or if I change anything, I am betraying his memory, and he would be upset with me. My wife has urged me to seek professional help, someone to talk to, someone to listen, someone who can help me. But I feel as though my brother would never do that. He would never ask for help. So why should I? My wife says I'm holding on to the past and that I refuse to let myself be happy, and that she's worried about me becoming an alcoholic, a problem I developed after his passing. I tried everything I could to give him a happy life. If he couldn't have it, then I don't deserve it. I would like to hear your thoughts, because even though we have never met, I feel as though I can trust your opinion. Thank you for a great show and any advice or help you may provide. Sincerely, Jonathan.
Man.
Whew, okay. I told you it was long. I am sorry. But I wanted to paint the story. I wanted it to be real, and I wanted it to be there for the details, because I do think that they are very, very important for this email. Jonathan wrote this email to us, and this was hard for me to read. I cried when I first read this email, when it came to the box. And the very, very first thing that I want to say to Jonathan is that you are asking us for help, and that is so, so important. It is so important to be acknowledging the fact that you have asked us for help. It's just because of us. It's just that you've asked for it. You know that something needs to happen, and you know that your life is not where you want it to be. But there's so much here, and so my head is kind of spinning, and I've been talking like a ton. So
Yeah,
let me start with you, Marconin. What do you see here?
Well, I mean, obviously, I see someone hurting very, very much about their brother, and to be so close to someone, and losing someone close to you is hard enough, but to have yourself to blame yourself a little bit for it, and to be so kind of engrossed in that person who's no longer here, to not allow yourself to move on at all is so much harder. I mean, I know I know it can be very, very hard, but I think the main thing, the first thing that jumped out at me when I read it is that, there comes a point when you lose someone that, they are the one that died, but you haven't.
Right.
You're not gone yet. You've still got time on the earth to make a difference and to advance yourself. So, I mean, that's, the main thing I kept thinking was that, you will have to seek and get some help. I mean, that's, professional help that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that, well, let's back up just a little bit. It's been a year since his brother has passed away. One of the things that is really important to note here is that Jonathan gave a lot of help to his brother. He's given a lot. He gave a lot of his time. He gave him a place to live. When his life fell apart, Jonathan was there. And he's even now feeling like he didn't do enough. He's feeling like he didn't do what it was. But what his brother was suffering from was depression. We've talked about depression on this show many times. And what happens when someone is in this kind of state where life feels like it has fallen apart to a level where nothing can be fixed? He has lost his girlfriend. He has lost his children. He has lost his job. He has lost his place to live. And it's just this like horrible feel of like all of these things that seeming to be, I can't dig myself out of this pit.
Mm-hmm.
And then depression adds on top of that to say, you can't dig yourself out of this pit. You don't know how to. You are worthless. You can't do this. You made this happen. You might as well not be here anymore. And so when you think about all of those things that are stacked onto someone who's been down a bad road or been in a bad situation, and then you add depression on top of it, it's like this horrible, it's a crushing weight that was sitting on his brother. There was nothing Jonathan himself could do. There was nothing he could stop. He could tell him till he was blue in the face, and he did. You have, you'll see your girls again. You'll spend time with them. You'll be with them. Just keep on going on. But in his brother's mind, it's saying, why bother? Why stay here? They would be better off without me, because that's what depression does. It lies. And it tells you what's not true because it tells you all the bad things. It's that terrible voice in your head that amplifies like 15 times. And so that's the one thing. The other thing is that he is holding on to the guilt of the day before when his brother was in his terrible state, and he spoke out of anger to tell him that if he just wants to get it over with, he should get it over with. And his brother replied, if it's not today, it's tomorrow. If it's not this rope, it's another rope.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why Jonathan feels guilty, but he didn't cause this to happen. He didn't. But he believes that he did, because he believes that if he had not stopped his brother, then he wouldn't have done it. And that is the thing that he has to understand, is that the guilt that you're carrying around in here was not your guilt in the first place. Guilt is a terrible thing, people. It's awful. If you've done something bad to someone and you feel guilty about it, that's one thing. But if you've done something where you feel like you didn't stop someone from taking their own life, that is something that you need to understand, that it is not your fault. It is not. You're still here. And that's because you choose to keep on living. Your brother chose not to. And that didn't happen because you weren't there. It happened because depression made him do it. And because he got to the point where he really believed that this world would be better if he wasn't here. So professional help is absolutely necessary. I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough, Jonathan. You need some help. You need somebody to talk to who is a professional, and you need to come to terms with all of the aspects of what has happened, because you need to heal from what you've been through too. And I know that this sounds selfish to you. I know that this sounds like, well, why are you talking about me when it was my brother who was the one who was in pain? You are in pain too. When you are dealing with someone who has depression, it takes you down. It brings you down. You are struggling to figure out what to do. And you can say anything you want to try to get them to feel better, and they won't. And it is horrible, and it is frustrating, and you get angry. And I feel like you need to start to learn how to love yourself again, too. I keep talking. Stop me. Do something here besides me talking.
Well, I mean, like you said, he really does need to seek professional help, because, I mean, we're talking to you because you're the one that we can still help. I mean, sadly, honestly, we can't help your brother. He made that choice and made that decision. He's beyond any help that we can give him. But you're not that far gone.
No.
And you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still here, and you've got room to grow, and you've got places to go, and you need to, you're not done yet. You're not finished. Just keep going, and please seek professional help and have them help you work this out,
Yeah.
because that's the best way to advance, and that's the best way to get through it. I know your wife is there for you. Lean on her.
Yep.
Lean on her. Please lean on her and have her help you. She wants to help you. And that's why she's asking you to do these things, is because she cares about you. And that's really that's the main thing, is remember that she cares and others care about you, and you're worth saving. You're worth having.
Yeah.
So please seek some help.
Yes. And the thing that you need to know to Jonathan in your email is you're talking through the lens of depression yourself by saying, I feel as though my brother would never get help, so he wouldn't ask for help. Why should I? Then you are repeating the same cycle that he went down. And that doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do your family any good. And it doesn't, you can't see that way. You can't look at it in that lens, because what it's saying to you is, because your brother went through this, therefore you need to go through the same thing. And this is the time where you can be selfish. This is the time where you can take care of yourself. And that is okay. And that is something that we here would say to you, absolutely you should do.
Yes, please.
Because he said, I tried to give him a happy life. I tried everything I could to give him a happy life. If he couldn't have it, then I don't deserve it. And that's where we say you're wrong.
That's very wrong.
And this is what depression says to you. This is what it tells you. If you don't know that you're in the midst of depression, this is what it can sound like. This is what it looks like. When you feel like there is nothing you can do, when there is feeling like that, you cannot get out of the darkness, when you cannot bring yourself to a point where you feel like yourself again, that is in need of professional help. You need to be in a place where you can feel like you can forgive yourself. You didn't do this. And I know that my words are saying in your head, I did do this. And that is not true.
Not at all.
So these are the things that we have to, it's going to be a way of thinking that is going to change. And you can live your life, and you can have your life without him, which sounds horrible. You don't want to live a life without your brother, but unfortunately you don't have a choice.
Yes, that wasn't your choice to make. He went of his own decision. And it's something we can't get back, unfortunately.
Right.
So you have to carry on. You have to. And we want you to.
Yes. And depression, Sika, who is in the chat room, says he needs to know that it was not his fault. And that is absolutely true, because she suffers from depression herself. Those who deal with depressed family members, loved ones, they are also victims of depression, because literally you can say anything to someone in depression and they will not hear you. They will not believe you. They will not understand what you're trying to say, because it doesn't seem to ring in there, because it's what happens. It's a chemical imbalance. When you're severely depressed, it's a chemical imbalance that causes your brain to not process things that it should, the way it should. And it will tell you lies. And if there's anything I can say, and I say this all the time, is depression lies to you. And if you have that awareness of it, then you can get past it. So
that's the first big step.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody gets depressed at a time or two, and I have had my dark days. I have had my days where I could not see anything good about my life. There are days when I wanted to end it all.
Yeah.
But you have to know that voice that's telling you all these bad things, that it's the way that you're fighting, you're actually coming to us and wanting to. It shows that you're willing to fight. If only it's a little bit, you're willing to fight, and you need to draw into that and lean on the people. Like I said earlier, feed off of that desire to get help and to fight, because you are worth fighting for. No matter what anybody says, no matter what that voice in your head says, because trust me, I know that voice. I've heard it.
Yeah.
You are strong enough to overcome that voice. You just need to believe it and lean on the people that believe in you.
Yeah. And if it's one step that you take to fix it, one step that you change for your life in like a baby step. Today I'm going to today I'm going to get out of bed. Sometimes that's the one step you can do to make it better. And so, Jonathan, your one step was writing us this letter.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're going to take that next step tomorrow. And you're going to take that next step tomorrow. And you're going to talk to your wife, possibly. Or you're going to call a suicide support line. Or you're going to call your doctor and just talk. But do something, please. Because we believe in you and we feel you're a part of this community, obviously. So we're already invested in you and we want you to be better. But just remember that you've already taken that hard step by sending this email and having this audience listen to your message. And also the one thing that Marconin touched on earlier is that your message has spoken to thousands of other people who have possibly dealt with or are dealing with the same thing that you are dealing with right now. And so just know that you are helping somebody right now. I know that you are, because it happens every single time we do one of these letters. We hear that someone got helped because of a letter that we had. So that if that makes you feel just a little bit something to keep going, then just take it and run. Just take it and run. So, Jonathan, we want to hear from you again. I know we both do. We
Yes,
want to know how
absolutely.
things are going, and we want to know where your steps are taking you. Stay strong, and you have an entire Moo crew at your back. Trust
Yes,
us
you
on
do.
that. If you guys have a question for the think tank, it's questions@taurenthinktank.com. Just a small little thank you to the Moo crew for the trust that you put in us for this kind of message that you send to us. It's a very, very humbling experience to receive a letter like this and to know that we can possibly be something that might help you to make your life just a little bit better. We know that we can't make the changes that you need to make, and we may not always hit it on the mark, but if we the impetus to talk about it is something that I really, really thank you for. And like I said, because it does help just more, it doesn't help just you. It helps more than others that are listening. I've had this happen to me all the time. So I love this show. I love what we do. And I thank you all for the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely.
So now that we have bared our souls to the internet, shed a little tear here and there,
Yeah.
how about we
Have a
do
li-
some tell us one thing and smile a little bit, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
We read your submissions because reading your mind would just be creepy.
All right, since you're drinking a nice little swig of water, I'll start with the first one. From Shield Spec, what's your favorite or funniest Halloween costume from your past?
Oh man, I would say my favorite was when I was an astronaut for two
Astronaut?
Halloweens. Yep, my dad worked in. He's a design engineer, and he worked in a copper tubing plant where they form the copper tubes, and they have like kind of these clean safety suits that are basically like woven paper. They're very thin, but they were all white. And so what he did was he got a cardboard box, covered it with like white paper, put NASA and stuff on it, and he just kind of put some rope and gave me the suit. And then he like printed out a thing that had my name on it, like the astronauts do. And so that was I didn't have a helmet, but that was my Halloween costume. So that was my favorite. The funniest one was, I think, when I was 5 and I was Big Bird.
Oh, how
There's
cool!
there's some pictures of me as Big Bird. You can't wait. I mean, it's a little kid it has the the plastic cutout, I can't breathe through the nose hole kind of mask. But that was probably the funniest one.
Oh
What
my
about
gosh.
you, Jules?
Those plastic mask things that came in those bags when we were kids with the plastic like overlay or something like that you wore. The smell of that, I swear, meant Halloween to me every year. Every year it was that smell of that plastic and that plastic mask. But I wanted to be Ms. Pac-Man, something fierce, when I was I want to say I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. And my mom could not find a Ms. Pac-Man costume for me, but she could find a Pac-Man one of those in the bag with the mask and all that stuff. So Mom was awesome, and she made like a red bow, and she stapled it to the plastic mask.
That's awesome.
And I wore this. It was awesome, and I giggled the whole time. My mom, I was like, "This is great." So that was my favorite costume because I loved it. The funniest one, I had one where I went to a party. When Arcane and I we were just friends at the time, and he had a Halloween party at his house, and I got one of those pimp costumes. The ones with the big hat and the bell bottoms, and I wore this pimp costume, and I was just like, I was so lame.
Oh, are there pictures? Please tell me there's pictures.
I bet you there are, but I don't have any. And it was bad. I mean, it was bright red with the leopard print on it, and it had the big hat. I was styling, man. I had it was something else.
Big pimpin'.
I don't dress up anymore, though. I wish I could, because I really don't have the opportunity to anymore. Because with 3-person office, there's nobody getting dressed up.
Yeah. Well, this is the first year in like 5 years that I've actually got Halloween night off.
Really?
And it's on a Friday. Yeah. Well, there was one year when I don't know if you watch Epic Mealtime, but my supervisor on Halloween night, we had to work, and she was like, "Well, if you guys want to dress up, make sure it's not something elaborate to where you can dress up a little bit because it's hard labor. You're moving things, building things." And so I was Muscle's glasses, and that included all that was me gelling up my hair a little bit, putting on some aviators, and I had the shirt that says bacon strips from Epic Mealtime that he wore, and so I wore that, and that was my costume.
I've never
that was the last
heard
time
of
I
Epic
dressed
Mealtime before.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure some people in the chat know about it, but man,
I must be showing my age here. But
oh well, it's new. I'll send you some links.
Okay, yeah, definitely. It just reminded me of something that we had to do. So where I used to work, where Kane currently works, is a big kind of corporate office, and for several years they used to do departmental Halloween dress ups. So like the entire department would have a theme, and then they would make the theme, and then everybody would participate in the theme. So they did this one year where they were going to be a toy store. And so it was everybody had these different things. And so they had, they were going to do all of these different Barbie dolls, different Barbies in different, professions. And so they pointed to me and they said, "We want you to be Dr. Barbie." Okay. And they hand me this blonde wig, like the long blonde wig, and they say, "Well, get like a doctor's, the coat, doctor's coat, and a stethoscope."
Coat and a stethoscope, yeah.
I do not pull off blonde hair well. Let me just put that this way. There are pictures of this, and I absolutely look horrid. In blonde,
man, I'd love
long,
to see
straight
that.
blonde hair. And I was like, "Why are you doing this to me? I look like hell." My skin is darker. I don't wear blonde hair at all. So yeah. That was it did not fly well. So it's like, can you at least put me in a costume that I might look decent in? You might compliment what I look like. So anyway, that was pretty funny. We're going on that long, but
That is funny.
You can read the next one.
All right, from the creepy one. What do you do during a raid night break? I make popcorn to snack on and review logs for strategy changes.
Oh, usually I will get up during raid night break, and I will get up and get something to drink, and usually use the bathroom. But it's usually grab a quick snack and then sit down, or I'll flip around to a different page and I'll start reading Twitter or something because I just need my brain to rest. I've known people that were like, I get up and I do calisthenics and no.
Jumping jacks.
That is not me. What about you? What do you do?
Pretty much the same thing. I'll get up, use the restroom, go get some water, get something to drink. If the cats are around, I'll pick one up and kind of haul her around for a bit. Put her on my shoulder and then sit back down, wait for the break to be over. That's pretty much how my raid breaks go. We only have 5-minute breaks, so can't really do much in 5 minutes.
Yeah, normally I'll get up and all the cats will follow me into the kitchen because I'm going into the kitchen. That's where they get fed. So there's 3 cats going onto the kitchen.
I just beeline.
And then it's usually hilarity ensues in there. From Will Seiler, what's your favorite thing about autumn?
Oh man, I like well two things. I like when that first kind of crisp coolness comes in the air, like where it's like it's more like a feeling, like you feel autumn is
Yes,
here.
yes.
Like that first, it happened a couple weeks ago, and I just walked outside. It was when I was working days, and I walked outside. It was like 5:30 in the morning, and I just inhaled through my nose and was like, "Oh, there's autumn. It's right there." I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, then
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about. And so it's that, and also marching season. I marched 12 years total, high school and college, and autumn means marching band to me. So that
Yeah.
means going to a football game and seeing marching bands play. It's that the coolness in the air. It's like makes me want to just pick up a horn and start rolling my feet and running around. So
Yes.
that's kind of
Yes.
that's what autumn means to me. And also Halloween, because I love Halloween. I love the whole thing of Halloween. Can't wait.
Yeah,
What a
Halloween was like that for me too. Like so autumn starts usually around mid-September up here. Leaves are already changing now. And but they'll get pretty like I think there's will be another week and then it'll be really really vibrant. But there's the thing about autumn. I was always a huge fan of Halloween when I was a kid. So the everything turns orange and black, and so I really I mean I don't really like orange to be completely honest. I mean I don't wear it or anything like that, but I like the way it looks and I like the pumpkins and I like the black cats and all that stuff. But yeah, it's that absolutely I agree with you 100%. It's that feeling of autumn. And it's that time where you kind of feel like the heat of summer has dropped, and there's a cool breeze, then I start going, but it's getting dark sooner, and then it's colder, and I'm not happy, and then it's gonna be winter, and I'm gonna hate winter, and so fall and I have this really like love hate relationship where I'm like, yay, oh no. You're here, which means you're gonna go, and it's gonna snow. It sucks.
Yes.
It sucks.
I'm fortunate to where we only get like one or two. Well, we get ice storms down here, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, hey, I mean, it's no polar vortex, no minus
Yeah,
35
minus
degrees.
30.
Oh man, it was -6, -8 in Arkansas, and I was like, oh geez, it's cold. And then I
Well,
was like,
yeah, it is
oh, I wonder
cold.
how Jules is doing.
Dying, going and starting my car in midday because I have to worry about whether it's gonna start when I leave. Yeah, that's what it's like. But I do
Oh,
like
man.
autumn and pumpkin spice, man. I'm already sick of it, but I get pretty excited when it first comes out.
Yeah, for me, the only thing I like about pumpkins is making jack-o'-lanterns. I don't really like the taste of pumpkin all that much.
Yeah.
So I kind of avoid the pumpkin spice stuff. Every once in a while, I'll have a piece of pumpkin pie if someone someone makes it like, you must try my pie. I would try my pumpkin pie, and I was like, okay, y'all, it's not bad. I can see why people like the taste of it, but it's just not for me.
Okay.
I do, however, love orange and black. Those are two of my favorite colors.
They are cool. They are really cool. I used to draw jack-o'-lanterns when I was a kid, so.
Yeah, me too. I would draw goofy faces and stuff.
That's so cool. See, look all this stuff you learn. From Southern Samuel, choose one from each category to dress up as for Halloween. One of your favorite WoW characters and a character from WoW lore.
Oh, goodness. One of my WoW characters. Man, if I could do anything, any of my characters, I would probably go. It's a tie between my prot paladin, because there's just something about having the huge mace and the huge shield and all this armor and stuff just being huge and just, I'm going to fight you. Just that kind of thing. It just feels good. But then I wouldn't mind doing like the tier 2 for mages, because it's got the little glowing blue, looks like little ion engines on the shoulder pads. The Netherwind set, that thing looks awesome. I mean, it's all purple and blue, and it's just big. Yeah, I'm a little tall for a gnome, Rayanne. I know that. I walk around on my knees.
That's funny. You could, it'd be cosplay.
Yeah, I could do that. Maybe next year for BlizzCon.
There
Don't
you
be step
go.
on my legs.
And then what WoW lore character would you dress up as?
Well, one year I dressed up as Hellboy, and I had the whole red face paint and everything.
Wow.
So I could maybe pull off a Thrall, just do green. I can't quite do the voice though, so I don't know. Maybe I'd do like a Jessica Chaos and be a troll. I could be Vol'jin. with the war chief's permission, if he's still in the chat room. I could do that.
Jessica Chaos's troll costume was the bomb. It was.
Oh,
she
yeah.
looked like she was working. She was working hard with it because she had so much armor on, and it was warm, but she really worked it. It was amazing.
It was fantastic. What about you?
So I would dress up as a monk, actually, as one of my WoW characters in my monk, because I think that the outfits are awesome. The monk kind of styling, the long leather jacket with the pants. I think that would be amazing. It would certainly dress up so I would dress up like my monk Julaxis. We'll just do that. You face Julaxis. And
I was gonna say I would face Julaxis.
Face Julaxis. And then as a character from WoW lore, I think I would try. Gosh, I'm trying to think if I would choose. I would probably choose like Chromie, and then have like half dragon, half gnome kind of stuff going on there. I think that would be a really cool costume.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's like Time Lord type of thing. So.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Let's see. Do you know how to pronounce this name?
Jamplander.
Jamplander. Hey, there we go. If someone sent in brains to the taste tank, would you try it? And in parentheses, it says, please don't send brains, people.
Please don't send brains, people.
Absolutely
not.
Please don't send any brains.
Absolutely
Please.
not. I would not try it. There is no way.
Yeah. No. There's parts of an animal that I don't want to eat, and that's one of them.
Yeah, and I'm really bad about organ meat. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I've never even tried liver in my life.
Neither have I. I never have, and I don't. I don't really want to either. I just remember there was an episode of the cartoon Doug on Nickelodeon where he had to eat liver and onions, and it just made him sick the whole episode thinking about it, and that kind of imprinted on me.
Yes.
I didn't want to eat liver and onions.
And my father, oh my gosh. So I was raised Jewish, and my father is like a big fan of chopped liver because it's part of Passover, is a big thing in Passover. And so, oh my gosh. And the smell is the worst thing. It smells worse than like animal food, like dog food. And so I can't, to this day, I cannot even think about it. So no, there is no way I would be eating brains. So no.
And Spanx, I actually wouldn't mind trying kangaroo, not kangaroo brains or livers, but if there's a chance for like a kangaroo steak or however you do that, I might try that. I might. Be a little weird.
Nabok says, if by brains you mean peanut butter pie, then yes.
Oh yeah.
Peanut butter pie is the bomb. Just don't put
Yes.
liver in it.
Yeah, no liver, no brains in my peanut butter pie. Please.
Please don't. Sergeant Zim says, do you have a zombie/Ebola survival kit?
Well, that's kind of topical since I'm going to be in the Dallas area.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
Well, and they said that, all the people that guy had in contact with, if they have it, they should start getting symptoms this week.
Yeah.
Because that's how long the incubation period is. So I'm not going to Dallas until Friday. I have some plans with some old friends. So hopefully no one else is going to get sick. But I don't have an Ebola survival kit. Occasionally at night, you're working nights, your brain works differently then. And I'm working at we have fixtures in the store and it's all steel. It's just metal bars and pieces. And I think, well, this long bar, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I would grab two of these and I'd like dual wield them and just because they have sharp edges, I just crack them in the skull, twirl it around every once in a while. I'll take the bar and kind of twirl it at work, just kind of be like, yeah, you're not going to mess with me. These zombies, where would I go?
I
go over on top of this thing.
You sound like Cartman. They're going to mess with me, zombies.
Yeah, guys, come on, yeah.
That's awesome.
Come on, zombies.
I do not have a survival kit for either one because, that stuff doesn't faze me. But I have actually had to stop lately watching anything that would be post-apocalyptic type of thing, like Walking Dead. I can't watch it anymore because these things are they feel like they're just a little bit too like realistic that could happen. And I find my brain picturing, like, if I'm in places, like I go to a mall and then I picture what it would look like to be completely gutted out and like old and you know, abandoned, and what we would do to find food. And I'll be in the grocery store and saying, you know, what would happen if this grocery store was like, you know, the only place that I could get food, and I'd have to run here instead of having to drive because I couldn't have gas. And like, so I find my brain is doing that weird crap, and I'm like, no, Jules, stop it. It's not gonna happen. So just stop it. So stupid.
Yeah. I'm still a season behind on Walking Dead. I watched the first episode, and it happened that they're in a grocery store, and then of course, like they always do, the zombies come in, and I'm like, oh god, I can't. So I was just like, I'll just put it away. I finished the episode, and I was like, I'm not gonna. I know I'm a season behind, but I just need to put that away. Let's watch some comedy tapes.
Yes,
I
let's
want
watch
to
something
laugh.
like a little more uplifting, or something that, you know, I'll just watch Scandal for a while. Even though
there you go.
My government is probably just like this, but I don't care because at least it's just no, it's not zombies. It's too funny. Next one from MacGyver.
Let's see, from Mr. MacGyver. Hello, sir, and he asks, "Is your number?" He said, "Oh, I guess what is your number one thing you are bringing to BlizzCon?"
What is your number one thing?
Me?
Yes.
Other than myself and my wallet, let's see. I'd thought about business cards, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll do those. So, number one thing I'm bringing. Well, my phone is my camera.
Yes.
So that would probably be number one.
Shield Baylor says my pants. Cal says deodorant.
Oh, yes. Deodorant. Oh man, hey, that's a given. I always pack deodorant. There's a running joke with Zarina Hooves from last year, because when I got out of the car at the hotels, and I found out that I was at the Hilton where everybody else was getting dropped off, but I was staying at the Annabella, so I had to walk all the way around the convention center. And I had a huge suitcase, because my plan was I was going to pack my suitcase with all of the swag that I was going to buy, and then like put clothes in a spare bag, and that'd be my carry-on or whatever. And so I'm going across, and if you've never been to the Anaheim Convention Center, it's got kind of like a cobblestone-y feel to the stones. And so my suitcase was just going, and there was a group of 2 or 3 people ahead of me, and Zarina turns around, and, you know, I never met them before. It's her and Bells. And they were like, dang, that's a loud suitcase. You know, we just started talking, and so then my nickname for the weekend was Suitcase. And so for her, I think the number one thing I'm going to bring is that suitcase. I'm actually gonna tweet her a picture of it here, next time I get around that suitcase, because it's back at the house.
Oh, nice.
So that was like soon, and have a picture of it.
Soon.
Yeah. What about you?
My number one thing is going to be my extra phone charger. The portable phone charger. Yeah, you're looking for yours right now.
It saved my butt last year, and I still have it.
If you haven't been to BlizzCon before, get yourself one of those portable battery packs that recharge your phone on the fly. Because BlizzCon, when you get into that convention center, it means that you lose all ability to get any signal whatsoever, which means your phone is going to go nuts trying to find a signal, and it drains your battery like that. So, yeah, bring yourself an extra phone charger. It is the biggest thing that will save your butt. So
yes, very good call on that.
Yes, and get one that has like multiple charges on it. The one we got was like $30 on Amazon, and you could charge your phone up to 3 times in a day. So do that. That was my advice to you for BlizzCon goers.
Yes.
Mammoth says, someone is being a jerk to you or to people you care about. Would you prefer to be able to fish slap them? A fish pops into being, slaps, and then pops out, or de-pants them in public. Their pants disappear from their body and appear 30 feet away. Mammoth, your brain is weird.
I like these choices.
I know.
There's no middle ground, is there?
No, it's... So, fish slap or de-pants?
Oh, I would. There's a couple stipulations on this one. I wouldn't really want to physically hurt somebody for just being a jerk. So I would lean towards the depantsing. However, I would like to have a little bit of foreknowledge whether or not they were wearing anything underneath. Because if they weren't, then I will spare them the embarrassment of having their private bits shown to the public and just get a little bit of scales on the face. So that's my reasoning. But I do like how the pants just disappear and they appear 30 feet away. It's not like I run up and go, ha ha, and like pull the pants down. It's just like snap my fingers and the pants are way over there.
See, I gotta go with the depants option. Depants. Is it depants or depants? It's depends.
That's one of my favorite pieces of my clothing is the pants. I like the pants or the shirts. Either one.
Depants. Depants, I guess is the way to say.
Yeah, deep pants. Yeah.
I would love that, and it would just because this is what my life is like. This is what would be happening to me. I would be making some point in some conversation, and I would look at you, and I'd be like, and just like that, Marconin, snap, and I wouldn't mean to do it. And then all of a sudden, there would be pants flying 30 feet across the floor. Because this is what I do. This is my goofy life. And so I would take that just for the sheer comedy of it, because having a fish appear in the middle of BlizzCon, which is what I'm picturing right now, would probably be a little bit awkward and weird. Not that the pants option, the deep pants option. I'm on a roll.
Oh yeah.
So I think I would choose the de-pantsing option.
Mm-hmm. Less risk for injury.
Well, it might not be for me.
well, I mean, it's if you run down and pull down their pants, there's a chance they may trip over and fall on somebody or something. But if their pants just appear elsewhere, then they're still standing and they won't trip. So
Lori just made the best point of the night. She said, "Jules, you need to be in close proximity to Chris Metzen when that occurs."
I know
yes.
a few people that will agree with you there.
Yes, I will absolutely agree with you on that one, Lori.
Oh man.
Well played.
Right during the opening ceremony. Horde! Alliance! Whoa!
Wow, that's a mental image
sideways.
right there.
Oh, I know.
We're going to be in trouble at BlizzCon. If we're sitting near each other, I'm going to be in so much trouble because I'm going to be giggling about that whole thing right now.
Oh, man. Yeah, we should. As soon as he comes out, he's like,
snap.
Hello, BlizzCon!
So anybody here, if you are at BlizzCon with us, when he does Horde, can I hear you? Alliance, can I hear you? I want to see your hands go up in the air and snap it in the air, honey.
Oh, man.
All right, we got to move on.
Oh, yeah, we got to go. Okay.
Night Vale, yep.
From Night Vale, Ginger or Marianne?
Why is this even a choice? Marianne. Ginger's too snobby.
Yeah, I don't like that personality.
I don't like the diva personality. No. So no, it would be Marianne for me because she's more down to earth and she's cool, and Ginger is out there in her own little world, and it's not my thing. It's not my thing. No.
Nope.
That was easy.
I agree with you completely.
From Deekshin, if you could set the path for the next WoW X-Pack, where would you take the story?
I'm a little tired of this little bits and pieces every few raid tiers where we get, oh, the Zandalari are so bad. Oh, the Zandalari have taken back Zul'Gurub and Zulamont. Oh, the Zandalari are back helping the Thunder King. Let's go take care of the Zandalari.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take care of it. We get done, Iron Horde and everything, all of a sudden, boom, we have to go and take care of the Zandalar. We have to go to their island, to their continent, wherever it is on the other side of Azeroth. And on top of that, we get to go see Kultiras. That's like our hub.
Yep.
We get to talk to, I think it's Jaina's dad. I think it's either her dad or her brother. One of them's dead. The other one's still alive. That's who we rally with. We go over there, we sail over, and we kick some troll butt. Because we're tired of being knocked around, the Horde and the Alliance. We're done. Let's go kick some tail. I'm tired of just beating around the bush the last 3 expansions. Let's go.
I love it.
Let's do it.
I love it. Bring it on.
Maybe throw in
Make
some
it
Naga.
happen.
Yeah. What do you think, Jules?
I'm down with that. I think that's perfect. I mean, I don't have the only other thing I would like to see as part of the X-Pack, and this is where my lore knowledge goes. Whoop. Wherever the time frame was where Darnassus was like the big tree was grown. The whatever that is, and I don't know what time frame that is, but I would like to see what that meant for the elves in the night elves and the whole clash between the the high elves and the night elves, and I'd like to learn more about that. Excuse me. But my lore sucks. So, the only thing that I would know for certain is like, oh, let's learn more about the Emerald Dream. Oh, that's what everybody says. So,
Yeah. That would be cool. And I think now that, I don't think they would, in my mind, I don't think they would do an Emerald Dream until we have fully explored Azeroth because it's a backup copy of the original one continent. I thought maybe now that Pandaria is here, we've got all 4 of the cardinal directions when you think about Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms, Northrend, and Pandaria. So now we can fit them together. But if there's something else on the other side of Azeroth or wherever we haven't explored, maybe once we fully explore the map, then we can maybe kind of bring it together.
I think that's fair.
That's kind of why I'm thinking it won't happen anytime soon.
Yeah, well, they want to make lots of different expansions, so continue to see
I'm
it
fine
go
with
in that
that.
direction. So,
I like that.
and
Let's
the last
see.
one.
Yeah, from Torhammer 6. What tune will you boost to 91st? And what tune will you level to 91st, Jules?
Well,
Sorry.
Julana will be the one that I level to 91st, my night elf druid. I've already used my boost. I used it on my paladin, which I kind of wish I didn't, but I did. So, because I thought I would want to play my paladin. And maybe I will. Maybe I want to pick her up when we get to see how the paladins play. But right now, not so much. So I was kind of mad that I used it because I was kind of impulsive. How about you?
An impulse boost. The first one to level to 90 will be my gnome mage Marconin, and my boost I'm still on the fence about. After seeing the Lords of War Part 5 from Murad, I kind of want a Draenei Paladin at 90. Because, man,
He was
story.
badass.
Yes. Oh,
was
man. I want to perfect his accent.
I know. You were kind of working a little bit with that when you were going earlier. I mean, it was more Scottish, but...
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would do. Either that or maybe... I don't really want to boost my rogue. She's sitting at 66, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to mess with her. I have 3 monks. I don't want to do that now because they're like I like monks better than rogues, so I probably would stick to the paladin.
So this one, and in the chat room's like, oh, you should have said it was to level to 90, not 100. But you know what? We know what you meant, Torhammer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, that does this for Tell Us One Thing. You can send in your questions. We do them on Thursdays. I send them out on Twitter. At Tauren Think Tank is the Twitter account. And if you want to send them before that, you can send them to questions@taurenThinkTank.com. So there you are. And now we might have another little new bumper here for feedback. Feedback.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you... Wow, that's a lot of feedback.
Yes, it is. And we have a lot of it tonight, as promised. And the first one. Hi, Jules, Sharku, and Marconin. My name is Meryl, member of CTR and Sharku's other raid leader. I haven't been too much of a long-time listener of the show, but I'm listening to the show now, and the 2 most recent episodes have really hit home with me. I'm sitting here at work currently listening to the show, and I've had to keep myself from tearing up a few times. All the topics that were talked about in the past 2 episodes have been issues I've been struggling with in my own life for the past several years, and just listening to you guys talk about it helps. Thank you. Thank you for keeping the show going, and thank you for being here for me and all the rest of the people that listen to this show. From Meryl, CTR Azure Ghost on Airy Peak.
Thank you, Meryl.
Thank you so much, Meryl. That's just, I love it. This is what I mean. These messages that we send, and it just hits home to other people. I'm so glad that we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you wouldn't mind reading the next one.
Sure. I am a bosom buddy to dysfunctional sleep. Spending 3 years in a third shift job with a near daily second shift life was hard. But then having my schedule changed to swing shift that has me working 2 third shifts and 2 to 3 second or first hour shifts, yeah, that will make anyone's sleep pattern go out the window. Especially when people like Marconin mentioned treat your schedule as if it didn't exist and insist on contacting you when you're trying to sleep, especially when they know you're trying to sleep. And trying to run errands? Yeah, that's not going to happen very well. My closest friends have now learned that my days off are my transition days and that I'll be non-existent during the hours of, well, any time in that 24-hour period. It's frustrating to say the least. And I wish I had any advice for XT that wasn't already mentioned in the show. Every body is different. I tend to find myself getting too much sleep when I'm transitioning between nights and days, and too little sleep when I've got a semi-normal schedule for a couple of days in a row. Melatonin has been a lifesaver. It's natural and non-habit forming. Plus, you're not so groggy when you wake up. Chamomile tea is also a good choice for a drink when you're trying to will your body and mind to cooperate. But like Jules and Marconin said, seek medical advice before taking drastic measures, especially if this is something you want to fix. Best of luck and sweetest of dreams, Rayanne.
Thanks, Rayanne. This was
Yes, thank you.
There's some points that we didn't talk about, which was the melatonin and the chamomile
Mhm.
tea. I think that was really cool too. Did you mention
Yeah.
chamomile tea? Maybe you did.
I mentioned the melatonin.
Okay.
I didn't mention the tea, I don't think.
Okay. And you know what?
I'm
This is
not-
the stuff that I love, to be able to get
Yes.
some more details from the community who live it as well. Because Rayanne works nights as well. So
Mhm.
yes,
She sure does.
absolutely. And our last email. So I got wind of your podcast when you were on Current Geek, Jules. Listen to your last podcast, and let me tell you what a fresh and cool podcast you have there. How did I not know of this? Keep up the good work. On the subject of how to be a nerd, it has a new meaning from when I was small to now, me now being 40. Hey, me too. At this point, being a gamer, a comic book fan, a person with the affinity to be geeky, it is a very exciting time, being the reasons that you pointed out. I mean, hello, Guardians of the Galaxy. Wow, what a thing to witness. I remember being in junior high, yes, when it wasn't middle school, lol, and having to hide my geeky side from my friends and family. And I think to this day, I'm still the odd one out, which I'm okay with. I've come to terms with it. But honestly, being part of a great community, for example, the Frog Pants Network, has let me in a way spread my wings and let me voice who I am more often. I have friends in WoW that I've kept for years now, and people I chat with on a regular basis that are nowhere near me, but that I feel close to even when there's states between us. Point being, do I have a point? Yep, I think I do. Being a nerd nowadays is more positive than negative. That being said, there's always going to be pitfalls and negatives and positives on both ends. That is all for the Horde. Sorry I went a little long, from Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.
I think that is the best message without a doubt. I love the fact that we have the community that we do in gaming, in all the things that we do, in just talking on podcasts and making communities and gaming, talking about comic books and doing message boards and voice chat and text chat and all those things that we have. I never would have imagined that we would have lived in a time that we do now when we were just starting the internet, and I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when we get down to 20 years from now. But I sure hope that things like this still exist. That is my hope. And now it is time to give the /moo. Marconin, if you would.
From Will Seiler, /moo to my guild Akvelar. Sorry.
I know. It's really spelling.
Akvelar for finally taking down Garrosh 11 months and 10 roster changes after we started the siege.
Oh my
Congrats.
gosh.
Congrats. That's overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
Congrats,
That's
guys.
impressive. From Laura Walker Maslow, /moo to all the little gnomes who raced in this year's running of the gnomes on the Scarlet Crusade server US.
Mm-hmm. Also from Mimmonth, /moo to at Alaire the Phoenix for fighting Comcast and getting back online.
Nice.
Fight the power.
Fight the power. From Mother of Alt, /moo to at midnight at 2020 site and Jessica Chaos. 3 of the strongest, most amazing, and beautiful women I know. Much love.
Here. From Arkangus, /moo to my new guild, Everything is Awesome. They made it so that I don't have to queue all by myself. All by myself.
He's trying to do all by myself.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't have to queue.
Yes. Because
Oh.
everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Now you're mixing the two together.
Hey, they said everything's awesome.
Everything
When we're living
is
a dream.
awesome. Yes, no.
I know. I was, other than Guardians, that was one of my favorite movies of the year. I know you didn't like
We
it.
have to talk.
I tell you, the first time I saw that movie, I was like the only regular. Like it was apparently dads take their kids to the movie theater day, so it was all dads and kids, and then just me by myself. And I was laughing at times. No one else was laughing. Like when you see the little pirate ship go out of the scene, I was laughing my head off. Nobody else was laughing.
Yeah, because it was
Oh well.
dumb.
Oh, oh,
It
you're
was
killing me.
dumb. From
You're killing-
Deekshin, a big slash moo to all the folks I've talked to in CTR Guild chat for making me feel like a new face is welcome there.
From Tater Soul LRT / moo to my alma mater, Spruce Mountain High School, on their undefeated record in football. Undefeated record in football currently. First time in years.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Congratulations. From Jackie B / moo to my guildies in honor bound on Kira Tour, especially my Kira and Takra, two lovely older ladies who do take some patience some days, but they do make it worthwhile when we see just how much they get better over time learning how to play a new class.
Cool.
Yeah.
And finally, from Brian K / moo to myself, I guess, seeing that I have had little to no help and no one to run with for the last year. I still love the game, but even joining new guilds, putting my battle tag up in a Facebook group, the Tadpool, and adding half a dozen battle tag friends, I still end up running around Azeroth alone. As a hunter, at least I have pets.
This comment sparked a bunch of responses on Facebook because this is where it came from. And so, yeah, and a bunch of people were offering to help out. So hopefully Brian will find somebody to run with, especially in Warlords. I think that's where you're going to find some people who are interested in doing stuff as a group. Right
We're
now,
at the end of
it's
expansion.
hard.
Yeah, end of expansion blues.
It's hard. It is. But so thank you guys for your / moos. You can send them in for somebody who deserves your love. Questions at taurenthinktank.com. We don't have any iTunes or Stitcher reviews this week, but you can add them to our listings on iTunes or Stitcher. They both have places where you can add a comment and some reviews about the show if you'd like it. Tell other people because it helps us. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can find us all over the internet. You can find us at taurenthinktank.com. That's our website where you can find all the podcasts. Everything's there. And so that kind of brings us to the end of the show already. My gosh, Marconin, we've been doing this for over 2 hours.
Oh my goodness, where does the time go?
Where does the time go?
Oh,
So thank you again for coming and joining us for a second round. I hope that this one was at least as fun as the first one.
oh yes, yes, it was. Yes, it
Good.
was. And thank you for your consideration and for having me on. This is truly an honor and a privilege. Thank you. Thank you so
guys
much
are
for having
making
me on
this
here.
extremely hard to decide because you're both fantastic. And Marconin, thank you for going through this process, for being a part of this show. And I am hopeful that I will be finally able to make a decision within after the, we're going to have Sharku on again next week. And so we can do a second round and let everybody have a chance to see everybody again. But thank you for putting up with this process, for making all of the new bumpers that we have and the intro that you did tonight.
You're very welcome.
I cannot thank you enough for all the things that you do to help this show out. So let's run past real quick. Where can people find you? Where are the best places they can find you?
Oh, the best place to find me is on Twitter. That's how it is these days. You can find me at Marconin Wow. That's MarConinWow.
Nice.
So that's the main way to get me. It's probably the quickest way to get to me is to just follow me and say hi.
Definitely. And he will say hi back, and he promises not to bite.
Yes.
Watch.
At first.
Okay. So we will be back next week with another show. Sharku will be back with me, and you guys stay in touch about what we're going to be doing next. I don't have any episodes of I Remembered It Better this week, and I don't know if we're going to have one next week. Cliff is he's anticipating a new baby, which could be here any day now. And I do believe that if the baby does not come this weekend, that they are going to be inducing said baby next week. So there may not be a show again next week, guys. Sorry about that. But that TV show did a new episode last week. This week. Last week. And so you can listen to that. Pat Crane and I talking about all things about TV, streaming, and also we're talking about The Wire, which is what we're watching right now on HBO.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I heard it's really good.
It's a really good show. So you can check that out. And Tauren Think Tank will be back next week as well. So with that, let's start getting this baby home.
Yeah.
Tauren Think Tank is a proud member of the Signals Media All-Star Network. Find out more about the other great shows in the network by going to signalsmedia.com.
You can find us outside of the show on our website, taurenThinkTank.com, which has all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us. There's also a donate button on the site, so if you like what we do and you would like to support our show by sending us a donation, that's a great way to do it.
You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tauren Think Tank. You can find us on Twitter for the show at Tauren Think Tank. You can find me, Jules, on Twitter at JulesRPG, and you can find Marconin at MarconinWow. That's MarconinWow. You can also chat with us and other members of the Moo Crew on our forums. Give those boards some love at forums.signalsmedia.com. Our voiceovers were done by the fabulous Uber Mages Arcane and Marconin.
And don't forget to get your Triple T t-shirt at slashloot.com.
Look at the t-shirt!
3 designs to choose from in 3 different colors. I have mine. Where's yours? Just got it last week.
Yay! And thank you, everybody, for being a part of the live show on our chat room. You can be a part of the live show by going to twitch.tv/Tauren Think Tank at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We love seeing our chat room here, but you can catch us on the download. You can catch us on YouTube. We put everything up there so you can check it out. There's Marconin. Thank you again for being here. And I will talk to you guys next week. So until next time, /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
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 Really? I cut that thing off way too soon. I was like, oh, shoot, my stupid clicker soundboard thingy. Yay!
Oh, it's all over.
We did it! I'm looking at the clock going, oh my God, we're going way long, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot to talk about.
We
so.
did. There was some heavy stuff in here, but
It
you know,
was.
I'm glad we brought it, and we brought it good. So yeah, there's some.
I think
some
so
good
too.
Stuff. If you guys want to catch the download on the show, I always put it up on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out. Yeah, I think it's cool. We have the new background. The whole thing will be up there, and so you can see that. And then it's on podcast, of course, and then I put it up on Twitch as well, so we get all that great stuff. So yeah, yeah.
I'm glad you're doing
this room
the
gets
the-
so
doing the
warm with this
YouTube
damn
thing now,
computer.
too.
What's that? Sorry, I was talking.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing the YouTube thing too.
I am too. I realized that because our show typically goes longer than 2 hours, roughly. I have to, because the stream goes about, usually about 2 hours, 8 minutes or so. I'm gonna have to start uploading it instead of taking it from Twitch and putting it up there, because otherwise it just cuts it off at 2 hours on the dot. So
Yeah. Yeah, I went to see how my troll voice sounded.
I know. Yeah, I had to cut it from the video and put it up in podcast. So
Yep.
that's okay. That was fine to edit that in.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you, chat room. I couldn't
Yes.
catch a lot of stuff that was going on while we were doing the discussion, but I know that it was flying by.
Yeah,
So,
it really was. I
yeah,
caught things here or there.
good. And we did an overview. We did an overview of the discussion topic, and so I'd love to see if we want to take that elsewhere, because we've got some. We saw some of the guests in the room tonight were folks that I got help from with this. So
Yep.
yeah, this is some really cool stories.
Volgen said, there, I tweet an official decree about the name change of trolling to Nomen.
Nomen.
I don't know if I like that.
Trollenclature and not nomenclature.
I may have a few things to say about that, Sir War Chief.
With the discussion, was that your gnome voice, or was that your gnome voice of the gnome that's flying away?
No, that was that's the /roar emote from the male gnomes in
Is
the
it
game.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
the
so
real
cool.
one. If you do a /roar, they go, ah! like that. And then I just put I just put the volume down, had it go down in amplitude as it went away to make it seem like it's flying away.
It's
And at the
awesome.
very end, have a little thud. Just
I hope you guys. We got some feedback that the other bumpers were a little bit bland, and we agreed because we kind of threw them together at the very last minute. So, Marconin and I put our brains together, and we came up with this plan together. So, I hope you like the new ones.
yes, I hope you like them. They were They were fun to put together.
I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
Hiccup.
What is your shirt a reference to? I've seen something like it with like Pokemon, but which one is that?
This is the Katniss shirt. Let me move my.
Oh yeah.
It's the outline of Katniss with.
That's
let me
right.
Stand up a little bit so you can see it. So it's got her.
Oh yeah.
With her braid going down,
I
and
see
and
that
then
now.
it has a picture of her pulling back the bow in the back.
Yeah,
So-
I saw the Archer, but I was like, I know that's not Robin Hood. But what is
Yeah,
that?
no, it's from the Hunger Games. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, I was a fan. Kane bought this shirt for me. He saw it on I think it was a T Fury, something like that.
Mhm.
So he saw it and he bought it for me because I love the Hunger Games books and the movies are great. So yeah, it was very.
You ready for Mockingjay Part
I'm
1?
so excited. I'm so
I
excited.
can't wait to see the District 13. Oh, that was the coolest thing. Whenever I got to the end of the second book, I was like, "What?"
I know. I
What?
read those books and I just ate them up. I love them
Mhm.
so much, and so I am so very cool, so excited.
Mhm.
I need a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt, Chief Olden.
I do.
I definitely
I do too. Yeah.
I need to get one. I think that might need to be remedied before BlizzCon. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I had to replace my Freddy Kitty shirt because I have a picture of like a cat looks like Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, and the one of my cats wound up coming up behind me with sharp claws and
no.
pulled hole in the side of the shirt, 3 holes, and just they just ripped, and I'm like,
Oh no.
so I had to go
That was
replace. This is my favorite shirt, so I had to replace it.
Yeah, that was the shirt that you were wearing when I first met you.
Yes, it was, and so my cats
Mhm.
destroyed it, so I had to go get a new one.
Oh, yeah. My the Alliance shirt that I bought at the Jinx booth from BlizzCon has a hole like right on the seam of the arm.
Oh no!
Like, I need. Oh man.
Well, it's time to get some new stuff at BlizzCon this year.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna get. I need to get another Warlords of Draenor shirt because there's a hole in it from a cat, like right here,
Damn cat.
because she was like making biscuits on my shoulder, and I went to pull, and she just went crink,
Yep.
and took it out.
Yep.
Like, man. I need to have, how people, people have to wear a bib to eat. I need to wear like a cat shirt whenever I'm cuddling the cats.
You do.
You know,
I
to
literally
protect them.
have. I have shirts
cat
that have
shirt.
holes in the back of them because the cats reached up and went, and just
Mom.
seriously. I mean, I love them to death, but they destroy shirts and they cover me in hair. So.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
They might be Spanx because they were last year. That's where I got my my WoW shirt and like a button. I think I got a button from there.
Yeah, I wound up getting my Draenor shirt from there.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
actually not from Jinx. I
No,
got
wait,
it
that
from
was
the Blizzard, the
Mhm.
booth. But I think they're there every year. I think they should be definitely there. They
Yeah.
had some awesome stuff last year, and I almost bought a couple of Alliance things, and I didn't do it. So
Yeah.
But-
Are you going to do your hair again this year?
nope, not gonna go blue
Nope.
again this year. It was, you know why? Because I loved it, but within a couple of weeks, it started to fade to like this greenish, bluish turquoise
that's
thing.
right.
I could not get that shit out of my hair for at least 4 months. It took me to change my
Oh.
hair back. So I
Oh.
finally we've got like the blonde underneath, and so there's
Uh-huh.
no, we're not messing with
Well,
this again.
you can go. You can do the gold. Like instead of blue, do the gold of Alliance.
Yeah.
There you
Either
go.
that or I would get something like clip in. So yeah,
Mhm.
no,
With
but
the
I'm
lion's
not gonna.
crest.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna darken my hair. I'll probably go redder actually this year. We'll see.
Okay.
But no blue this year. I did it
Yeah.
once. That was the only time I did it, and I'll never do it again. My glasses are blue. These glasses, it's hard to see on the stream, but these glasses are bright blue, so they'll be good for my Alliance stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say those were the ones that I was leaning towards when you showed off the
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
the frames.
and
It's like
they
it's either
actually-
those or the other one.
They're awesome. They're very, very cool, and so
Good.
I'm a big fan of them. So, and they're comfortable, which is awesome.
Yeah.
too, so.
I'm thinking about ordering another Doctor Who shirt for this year
Ooh,
for
yay.
BlizzCon. It's the one actually Nevermore was wearing last year, where it's got one of the doctors stepping outside of the DeLorean that's painted blue like the TARDIS.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like a crossover, and it says, like Back to the TARDIS in the Back to the Future font. And I was like, I've always wanted that shirt. And
That
then I
shirt
saw
is
her, and I
perfect
was
for
like,
you. That
I
shirt
need
is
that
perfect for you.
because I'm wearing the flux capacitor today.
Yes.
So I've had this shirt maybe 9 years, 8 years. Found it online, and I was like, this is the most subtle. You've got to know what it is. Like,
Yeah.
there's no DeLorean or the big like, oh, it looks at me, a Back to the Future shirt. You got to like actually have seen the movie. So I think that's cool. I like those little subtle. Not this is not so subtle because it's bright white, but just like where people be like, that's a cool shirt, where they actually have to think about it or something. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
was. We were last week. We were wearing. I was wearing my my N7 Mass Effect hoodie, and this guy walked past me. We were at the brewery getting beers with Midnight and Ladra. This guy goes, "Cool shirt." I was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
because I'm a Mass Effect geek. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, every time I see, because occasionally when I'm at work, I'll see somebody walk by, and the Blizzard shirts have the Blizzard logo on the back of the neck,
Yes.
kind of right there. And like one guy walked by, and he was wearing it was either the Horde or the Tushui, no, it was the Hojin, whatever the Horde Pandaren faction shirt. And I kind of walked by and was like, for the Horde, I speak for the Horde.
I speak for
And
the
he was like,
Horde.
yeah, dude, yeah. It was kind of like, had just kind of a gamer bro moment right there. Had a
Nice. I love when that happens and you're like, we're part of the tribe.
bromance. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we should probably say goodnight to this lovely chat room.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some
we
people
shall
have to
do
go to
so. You guys rockin'. Thank you guys so much for everything, and we will
Yes.
see you. We'll see you next week. Have a great night, guys.
Adios, mu crew.
Slash moo.
Slash me.